Okay, YouTube world, I thought I'd share with you what I'm discovering under the hood of my old big Ford back here. And what I found is this here. The rocker shaft broke in two. There's part of it still connected to the motor, and here's the part that connected to that last cylinder. So what that allowed this to do was this arm slid back, which allowed, this shaft slid back, which allowed this arm to slide back, which made it slide right off the end of where that rocker arm was. More interesting, at least to me, is that there was a bolt. There was two bolts in there. They were both loose. One of them completely loose, and when I took it out, it was broke off, and the broke off piece was sticking up, and I was able to grab it with my fingertips and screw it out of there, which to me is very lucky, because to be honest with you, drilling a bolt hole out of a head in this Ford would have turned this into a much nastier situation than it is. So I feel very good about that. So here is one of the rockers. This is the one that was in front of it. The other one is down in the motor there somewhere, I suspect. I've been told by several people that if you take that stuff out of your way and look down in there with a flashlight, you can see it. And I'm gonna have to move this other light out of my way to see if I can see it, but I don't think I can. And what Cutworm said you could get away with was he said you could, if that's down in there and you can't see it and you can't get it out, he said you could just go and buy new ones, poke it in there, and just not worry about the one that's down in there, because it wouldn't do no damage. I get my head over in here in such an angle. Yeah, I don't think I can hold the camera and look in there all at the same time. But needless to say, I know which way I need to go. I need a new rocker arm shaft and all that. So that's where we're moving toward right at the moment here. That's what I'm saying. Oh, and I also came up with this really cool tool. I think this was some of my dad's stuff. This looks to me exactly like the kind of tool that you would use to stick down in that hole, go way down in there and grab a shaft and a rocker, a push rod. What was I calling that thing? And pull it out. So that's just a handy looking tool right there. And it seems to be hitting something. So that thing may be in there, because on this side that goes, I guess that's just about the same. On this side that goes way down. On this side it does not, so that must be the shaft. It'd be fun if I could get a grip on it with that thing. I don't know if y'all can see what I'm doing or not, but I can kind of feel it. Getting a hold of something there. Well, I'll cut the camera off. I'll spend a little more time with that. I know I'm not going to be able to get it running today, because I don't have another rocker shaft to go on there. But just knowing what's wrong with it makes me feel much better. And especially since that bolt wasn't broke off in the head. Oh, that's lovely. Okay, here's the deal. This little tool is just a handy dandiest little thing. It is getting down in here, and it's getting a hold to that. Listen, you can hear it when it drops off the end of it, falls back down. It'll come so far, but not all the way out. You hear that? The magnet will do the same thing. I can shine my light in there. I can see that rod down in that hole. I can see the magnet lifted up to a certain point, and then it just stops. And I'm wondering if it's if the rod is bent down in there so that it comes up about so far, and then it hits something and it won't come any further. And I'm also wondering if it is, and if I'm not going to be able to pull it out, because I'm not having much luck pulling it out right now. If I pop this manifold off, will I be able to see that? I'm sure I will, because the manifold comes off. There's a valley pan under that, so I should be able to, if I take off the manifold in the valley pan, I should be able to see that rod down there where it connects to the lifters. And I don't know what's keeping it from coming out, but it may just be that what I need to do is just go ahead and yank that off there. I might call Walt. There's a guy down in Florida named Walt. he knows all about these old cars. He's called me now 2 or 3 times to advise me on stuff, but I might give him a call. See what he thinks. He said use a little piece of wire and try to hook that and pull it out. I believe that would work, except that it's, for some reason, I'm getting good grip on it there. I can feel it. I've actually got it in my little clipper, but it is not going to move past a certain point there. I might give Walt a call before I do anything else, because he might have another idea. Okay, I gave Walt a call. He said it takes quite a lot to get them to come out sometimes. And I've been yanking on them pretty hard. I tried the magnet and I tried all kind of, you know, long nose, needle nose pliers. And I finally decided, you know, with the time I'm spending just trying to get that to come out, it's not that much to get that off of there. And all these bolts are not that tight. I put a 9/16 wrench on the manifold bolts here. And they all turn easy. So I decided to go for it. I got the radiator draining. And boy, I love cars where you can drain the radiator into a bucket instead of having them run down into a piece of plastic and then run all over the yard like the way they make them nowadays. But anyway, you can get this manifold off without having to lift out the distributor or any of that stuff, so that's pretty easy. I guess the biggest deal of it is draining that out and lifting that out of there. Somebody made the comment the other day that thing weighs about 150 pounds. It is very heavy, but I think I can handle it. So I'm going to just take everything loose and pull that manifold off. That way I can get right down in there where the action is and correct the difficulty. I can't put it back together today because I don't have another rocker shaft, so I can get it apart today, and then I can figure out what I need for parts and order them up, and then we can put it back together next weekend.